and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we're going to be doing a playthrough, or a gameplay example, probably more like, not a complete game playthrough, unless things go a lot faster than I think they will. But anyway, the game that we're going to be looking at here is Okinawa, the last battle of World War II. This is one of the solo game of the month, and it is from Better With One Games. So it is a card game. And it's got good theme to it, but this is not what most people would call like a traditional war game. So basically the way it works is you have an objective, and here's the current objective. It is Hacksaw Ridge. You have other objectives here, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is always the Hill 89. This is the last objective. And 2 and 3, there are multiple cards for objectives 1, 2, and 3. So basically you draw them randomly. I drew Hacksaw Ridge. I haven't looked yet to see what 2 and 3 are. Let myself be surprised. Okay, you have 10 what they call action cards, and they're laid out here in the recommended distribution. So you start with a scout, 3 riflemen in a row, then a bunker, another scout, 3 more riflemen, and a radio operator. Okay, they all have capabilities that are listed on their card. Like the scout, for example, removes fog of war. We'll see some fog of war here in a moment. Then you've got the soldier here. He can do damage to enemy infantry and armor. So when they say armor, it just means a hardened target because there are pillboxes and those are armor type. So it's something you require explosive ordnance to destroy, essentially, is how I view it. Then this one, you get a sandbag. You see the sandbag symbol on there. So they all have various things. They also have 2 sides. This is the basic side, kind of the lower rank, for example. And you can advance them or promote them. Well, maybe not this one. There is it's the reinforcements. So up here you see the gold stars, right? You draw 3 randomly. This is the pile you're drawing from. So we've got a Corsair, which obviously is a fighter plane. It's a Marine or Navy plane, and it can destroy other planes. It's also, that's just a text ability. So some cards have a text ability listed. Let me pick this up so you can see it a little better. Here's our Corsair. It's got a gold icon on it indicating that it is a reinforcement. So it can destroy planes, which is what this says. This here means it can destroy an armored target, so pillboxes and tanks. This means that after it's used or activated, it gets turned 90 degrees because it's out of supply until you pass the resupply, which is down here. Okay. Now I'm going to put this back. So these cards here up top, we have a Corsair, a sniper, and a machine gun team. They're all not active at the moment. This is our active force of 10. They all have numbered spots, and you have a command pawn here, which basically, I guess, represents you, and you're kind of the commander, I guess. But you move down the line here through 5, then you'll pass over resupply and go to 6. So these are adjacent, but once you go from 5 to 6, you get resupply, which adds things to your hand. Then we have 6 through 10, and that completes 1 circuit. Now here on our objective card, you can see up here, that's how many circuits you can make, which is 2. So once we go through this twice, it's over. This objective is completed. Whether or not we've killed all the enemies, it doesn't matter. It matters later, but it wouldn't matter right now. We would just have completed it. The 4 here indicates how many action dice you get. These are the action dice. Right here, they have numbers on them, 1 through 4. 1 and 4, I think, 1 and 4 are only on there once, since it's a 6-sided die. 2 and 3 are on there twice each, which means obviously those would come up more often. The J is the card you pull for the, you can see here, it says J on the back, race against time. So you lose 1 health each time you complete a loop. So we only have to complete 2 loops, but every time we do so, we're going to lose 1 health. Our health are actually off shot right now, but I have 4 of them right there. Each time I lose 1, it gets flipped to its skull side if all 4 end up in on their skull side, then I lose. So that basically represents the strength of your force, I guess. And I might move these up some to get more of the game into the shot. The game's footprint isn't gigantic, but it's not really tiny either. Okay, so now you can see pretty much everything. So that was J. Then the 6 indicates how many of these go in here. Now these always go in spot 1, right? So they're adjacent to both 1 and 10. And that'll be important for the Japanese cards that'll be in here, the enemy cards. But these indicate basically troops. So more run-of-the-mill kind of regular troops as opposed to what we're going to see when we start pulling cards from these two decks. And speaking of that, here you see you have 3 columns. They would correspond to these 3 spots. And you have some objectives have more than 3. And the second one on the bottom would be flipped over and left like here to be kind of a mystery. So we get two C's, as you can see, and an F in the middle. So it'll be C, F, and C. And where we get those from is here. You have 2 decks of enemy cards. So this is the known enemies, which all have letters on them, right? A through H. And then we have here, well, left one there. These are the unknown enemy cards that all have a question mark on them. And some of the other objectives have these guys on them. So we take this and we go to C, and we're going to pull both cards out because they're both going to be on here, and also one of the F cards, right? So these are our enemies. Now they go out in the order that's on the card. So the 2 C's are both machine gunners. So they're going to go here and here. And our pillbox goes here. Now this is what you have to kill to really be able to do anything. So they all have effects. They all have things on their card. Here, let's take this machine gunner. So you see here we've got these red triangles pointing up and down. So this card's here. It's going to be able to affect this one and this one. Now the 3 is its health. It's an infantry type, and it's got a health of 3. So you have to hit it 3 times to kill it. This is how many fog of war markers it gets. You can't actually attack it until you remove this, which is what our scout does. Then down here, you have the damage it does to your troops, which is 2. Okay, so that is that one. And then the pillbox, as you can see here, it's got a 5, which means it takes 5 armor type hits to destroy it. And at the bottom, it says soldier tokens cannot be attacked while this card's on the battlefield. So as long as this is activated, or not alive, I guess, essentially, you cannot attack these guys. And whatever survives from this gets moved out. And at the end, when you get to objective 4, assuming you make it that far, you then have to deal with whatever was left over from the previous 3 objectives. So that's why it behooves you to try to kill all of the enemy as you progress through this, but you can only go through the whole loop twice. So I think that covers most of it. I do need to put out the markers here. So these 2 both get 1 fog of war marker to indicate that they are basically hidden right now, right? We start on 1. Okay, now you have dice. We have a die here on our resupply. That counts as one of our 4. Here are the other 3. Now, I mentioned in the first look that the game comes with a dice tower, and here it is. So it's kind of cool. I thought I would show it. So it's got, obviously, artwork on all 4 sides, which I think is really, really neat. It's nothing fancy. It was free. Came with your GameFound crowdfunding backing of this game. So it's kind of cool, and I like it. I mean, I probably won't use it here because I'm afraid if I roll dice out of it, there's no tray at the bottom, and I don't have a tray right now. So it would just spew all over and maybe move cards and everything. So I'm going to use my old trusty gray dice tower here to roll my dice. Now I can roll these 3, right? These 3 plus that 1 is my 4. Some you'll have more, some you may have less, but for this one we have 4 as designated by the box here on our objective. So the first thing we do here is here in the book, right? if we go to playing a turn right here, at the beginning of each turn, you must flip any exposed enemy cards that are face down to their face up side, right? So we already did that, right? CF and C, CFC for Hacksaw Ridge. Then roll any enemy dice needed to determine the targets and abilities of the enemies currently on the battlefield. So that would be these guys mostly. These don't have any die symbols on them, so you don't roll a die for those. So we have 6 enemies here, so we have 6d10, and whatever number you roll will correlate to one of your 10 action cards. So we're going to roll all 6 of these, and we're going to take them out, and we get a 4, so that would go on there. And we get a 10, and that goes on here. And a 1, which is a problem, and I'll explain why in a moment, there. Then a 7, a 6, and a 9 are the other ones. So this is actually not a bad roll. That was a 9, not a 5. All right. So if you have a die on a card, when the enemy turn comes, they get to apply damage to that card. Since we're currently on 1, this card is currently in jeopardy, and we would lose one of our heart symbols. We would flip it over to that, and that would obviously be bad because that would only leave us with 3. And if you lose all 4, you lose the game. So now we roll our dice. That would be the next thing. And there are 2. So you roll the number of action dice specified by the active objective card. Now you can take this one off as well if you want to use it. Or we can simply place it on something. Actually, that's the way it works. You have to take it off and place it. So I may or may not do that. Let's see what we get on our other 3 here, because this one's automatically a 1. And a 1 is cool because it lets you, well, it's a good number. Let's put it that way. And I'll explain why here in a moment. All right, so we got 2 3s and a 1, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. All right, so 2 3s and a 1. I'm just going to put them here, because we're going to basically what they call discard them, which is really just use them for actions. So you have 2 actions you can do. You can activate an action card, or you can do movement. Now, movement, basically, this is the problem. Like, you can't, you would move the number of spots on the die face, right? So here's the problem. We've got 2 3s. I guess it's kind of a problem, right? Because we're on 1. So if I use the first 3, we'd go 1, 2, 3, and be on 4, which has a die. And if I use the other 3 for movement as well, and again, I don't want to race around this because you run out of time. So you have to kind of try to destroy the enemy as much as possible, and that's a little bit difficult. But here's what we're going to try and do. We are going to activate this guy. Now, if you can do what's called a run, where you have dice that are, say, 1 2 3, or 2 3 4, or 1 2 2 3 3 4, etc., you can do multiple actions. And by that we mean you can actually say, okay, I'm going to activate this card twice, or even 3 times if you have a 1 2 3 or a 2 3 4. That's not the case, which is why I said this wasn't a great roll. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I have this resupply die. Okay, so I can take this and add it to my pool, which would give me 2 1s and 2 3s. And then I can also take one of the other dice and put them on here. So if I say I want to take one of the 3s and put it on here, now I don't have to do enough movement to get all the way over to 7. I don't want to do that. So I can spend one of my other ones, like let's say we spend this 3, right? We discard that, and we're going to use his action here, which is to remove Fog of War, and we're going to remove Fog of War from our machine gun. So this goes away, and this can now be attacked, but he cannot be activated again. But what I can do is spend another one to move the command die here, and then spend my last one to activate him and use his 1 soldier kill action to inflict a hit here. And we put a hit marker on there, and that indicates now that he is down to 2. And then there's also a 2 on the back here. If we inflict the second hit, and then obviously the third hit would kill him and the card would come off. Now, the nice thing is my pawn only moved 1 space. So it's here on the 2, right? Ideally, I would have had a 1 and a 2 or a 2 and a 3 or something, because I could have used this ability twice to remove the other Fog of War, which I now won't be able to remove unless I get lucky, I think, maybe. No, I probably won't be able to remove it until I land on this space, and I have to make sure that I can land on my second scout, which will also go through resupply, and we'll talk about resupply when we get to it. So that would complete my turn. Now, the only pawn or the only location we have to worry about is this one, because that's where the pawn is. Now, he does do 2 damage because he's pointed at him, and it's now the enemy turn. These 6 guys can't fire because this is not the active. So basically, wherever your pawn is, that's where you're going to take damage, right? Because otherwise, you'd get wiped out in 1 turn and the game would be over. So this makes okay. So you see now why it's important to try and get your pawn in a spot where you can actually do something with him, right? So now, basically, that's it. And we would remove all the red dice, and we would start our next turn. So it does move quickly once you've got all the basics down, right? So then we would just move on to our next turn, and we would repeat what we did. So again, you'll roll your 6 red dice rather, and pull them out. And this time we got 2 8s, and yes, that does mean you get 2 hits. We got a 7. We got a 5, we got a 10, and we got a 6. Now these, of course, represent these guys right here, okay? And they can shoot at anybody. So obviously we don't want to land our pawn on the 8, and we got pretty lucky. As long as we don't end up on the 5, we might escape unscathed from these guys. That does not protect us from this one and this one. All right, so now we roll again. So this is a good roll because we've got a 2, a 3, and a 4. So we have a run. We can activate 1 unit 3 times. I could use all, and that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm going to take all 3 of these, and I'm going to activate this guy 3 times. Now, we only need 1 more hit to kill this. Well, we need 2 hits to kill this machine gunner. So if we just do 2, 3, 4, right, and we say 2 would flip this to the 2 side, then the 3 would kill him. So we remove this card. Okay, that's it for now. Now that's 2 dice gone. And we use this one to attack the pillbox. And the pillbox now has, because he also, where the die is sitting, there's a 1 armor attack. So he can also attack the pillbox and do 1 damage there. So we're going to put this on here now. And so, again, we can't attack these guys as long as this is active. So I need to hit it 4 more times or damage it 4 more times to destroy it. But the bonus is I don't have any die out. I don't have to take this out. So with no dice out, I don't have to move. I stay right here. And that means that these 6 guys aren't going to do any damage at all. But I think I just screwed up. I definitely screwed up because these 2 would be 2 more damage, like so. And that would be game over. But I have this, which is a sandbag that I can use to do that, which gives me 1 health left. Because again, all of these go away since our pawn was not on any of those. Okay. So now things are a little hairy here because we have we're kind of in a precarious situation. All right, hang on. I totally messed that up. The same thing that's true for these guys is also true for the cards. Okay, so actually, I don't have any health that's been destroyed so far because in the previous turn the pawn was here and the machine gun was destroyed, or was alive but had not been destroyed yet, I guess I should say. But it couldn't damage these cards because the pawn wasn't there, basically. So that is lucky for me. Now we still have 6. So again, as we start our third turn here, we have to roll all 6 of these. And we got it. 8, 8, 3, 1, 6, 9, and 10. 6, 9, and 10. That was a 1. Okay, so now we roll our 3 dice again. And we got 2 3s and a 2. So I can do 1 run and then move 3. 1, 2, 3. That would put me here. Okay. So if I put this on, here, then we can attack this guy 2 more times, which would now be a total of 3 damage. And then we move our pawn 3 spaces with this one. So that would be 1, 2, 3. So now we're here, and we again don't take any damage. So we're going to pull these off. And we'll go to the next turn. So I need 2 more to destroy the pillbox, which will then make these guys available. So we got a 2, we got a 9, we got a 4, we got another 9, got another 2, and we got another 2. 3 2s. Wow. Okay, so this is bad because we don't have any way to avoid the damage here. We're already past that card. I can play my sandbag on there during the enemy turn right here, which would reduce it to 1 damage, but we're still going to take damage. So now we would roll our 3 dice. And again, I still have that 3 I can pull out if I need it. And we got a 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty good, except that, well, here, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we have a 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do, I think, is if I move 1, so if we play the 1, we can move here, which will hit resupply. Then I'd have a 2, 3 left. And I could use the 2. Let me think about this here. We want to use the 1 to move 1. Although I could activate them with one of the 3s and use that to take the sandbag. Okay, so this is what we will do. We'll spend this, which will give us a second sandbag token to go with the one we already have, which means I can avoid damage entirely if I put them both on there. So this one goes away. Then we're going to use the 1 to go to the scout, which will pass resupply, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And we're going to use the 2 to activate the scout, and that will allow us to remove the machine gunner here. So he's no longer hidden. And now we can do resupply. So the resupply section of the rule book. Each time you move your pawn past the resupply card, you may immediately take a reinforcement card from the reinforcement row along with the face-up resupply token on it, which I did not put. So that's this, and it's a sandbag. Okay, since it's face up. Then draw a new reinforcement card. So that's these guys up. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally misread that. That's stupid. All right, I put that out. I won't draw that one again since I know what it is. So I can take a reinforcement card along with the face-up resupply token on it. So that's a 1/1. That's a 1/1, and that's a med kit. Let's take. Okay, so we're going to probably end up taking our machine gun team here for a couple reasons. One is for the med kit, which can restore 1 health. The other is for this. And you can see that it's oriented landscape. So it actually replaces 2 spots on your line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to combine 8 and 7. So I'm going to remove 8. And I'm going to take these 2 cards out. And I'm going to put this here, and it will be number... shoot. I have to roll a 1. Or I take out this one. I only have 2 sandbags, though. Oh, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's gonna attack. He can't attack there. What am I? I'm not even. I shouldn't even worry about it because he's not going to attack there because that's not where the pawn is. The question I'm thinking in my head is I want to get to this card so I can activate it. So I would need to roll a 1 or a 2 because it would be 7 and 8, I guess. So I think that's how this works. Remove 2 cards, but the spaces remain. And we got a med kit, so we'll put the med kit with our stuff here. And that's, we'll take these guys out because they're done. Where did I put the other one? It's over there. Okay. All right, so these are my dice. I'll be rolling them again. Our pawn is on the scout, so I think we're good here. See, I could guarantee success if I made him the 8/9 instead of... I'm going to do that. I'm going to make him the 8/9. These won't matter because that's not where the pawn is. So I'm just going to do this and slide this guy over here. And now that 8 is upside down. Nope. No, it's not. It's good either way, apparently. Okay. So we got everything set up now. So now I need a 2 or a 3 to get here. And I'm guaranteed because I have a 3 that I can pull off to use for movement to get there. Okay. So we're done with that turn. Now we will pull all of these off because the pawn's not there, so they can't attack it. Roll again. We got a whole lot of stuff here. We got a 10. We got 3 6s. So I definitely need to Amscray from this card. And then we got an 8, 10, and another 10. Okay, so we don't want to be on the... Well, now we'll have a use for our sandbag, I guess. Assuming I can roll a good roll for myself. And I got a 2, 3, 4. So, interestingly enough, this is going to be awesome. So, this is going to be nice, I'm pretty sure here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this 3 off, and we're going to put it here and discard it to move the pawn 1, 2, 3. So he's here now on the machine gun team. Okay, this one goes away. So I'll put it back up here. Now we're going to use our 2, 3, 4 for a run, and I'm going to activate this guy 3 times. And we're going to activate the first one. We are going to attack. We've got 2 more to kill this guy. Right? Because, yeah, 3. And they can do 1 point of damage. And then The other one, they do 3 points of damage to infantry types, which is what this guy is, and he has 3 hits. So this machine gun is going to take out that machine gun. But what it's going to end up doing is it's going to end up taking out this card and this card. So they're both out. Now they can obviously return. They're just known cards, so they would go back into the deck over here. But for now, they're out, and that uses up all 3 of these. Then I can put my sandbag out, which will negate the 8 on here from these guys because they're the only ones left. Best of all, my pawn stays there for next turn. This now gets discarded. Actually, let me use the square one. We'll use the square one. Now we're going to roll for the next turn. And we got a 2, couple 5s, a 6, another 6, and an 8. All right. Now, depending on what we roll, and this time I roll all 4. Oh, and I forgot to put a new reinforcement card out. So I need to do that. Where did I put the reinforcement deck? Oh, it's right here. So we just take the card off the top, which is a medic, and put it right there. And it gets a chit, a resupply counter. Okay, so now we rolled 3 3s and a 1. So this is not great at all. So I'm going to save the 1, and I'm going to use one of the 3s. Well, let's see. If we use a 3 to activate, I'm going to put a 3 up here. I'm going to use a 3 to activate. And we're going to hit 3. We have 3 fire attacks, or 3. Actually, no, it's just overkill. So I eliminate one of these guys. So one of those goes away because they have 2 health. So you flip him like so, right? And now he's at 1 health. So they go there. I realized I screwed up, and I'm just going to mention it right now. When I had the enemy cards here, so when we had this, like so, it was like this, they should have moved over, and I didn't do that. And I forgot. And I'm not sure if that would have had any effect, but I did want to point it out because that is incorrect. Okay, so now we've activated him. This one goes away. And I still have a 3 and a 1. So that would be 4. But I can use the 1 to move here, and then use the 3 to activate it. Now, radio operator, you can see he gives you a modifier, chit, which I have not used yet, and one of these, which I think I'm going to have to look at the rules to see what that actually is. So here on the back, we have a little icon reference. So that's reposition. Okay. So I got a reposition, and I got a +1, -1, which is explained here, adjust. You can add or subtract 1 from the value of an action die. And it can't go above 4 or below 1. So I have 2 of those now. I also have the reroll that I can also do. I got one of those. I still have 2 sandbags, and I have the reposition. So reposition token, you may discard it at any time to switch the position of 2 action cards. When used, discard it back to the supply. Okay, so actually, I guess I can use that. Well, wait a minute. When we moved here, oh, I used the 3 to activate it to get these 2. Okay, so we're good. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to swap these 2. So this will become 8, and this is 9, 10 now, like so. All right, so now we're here, and next turn, because I didn't start a second loop yet, next turn I'll be able to attack these guys again. So you see, the little counters and stuff you get can help you. I hope I'm not massacring this too much, but let's continue. All right, so we got a 2. Whoops, that was a 2, really. We got a 4. Keep hitting it with my big chunky fingers. 4, 5, 9, 5, and 4. Okay. All right, so obviously we have a little issue going on right here. We'll roll out 3 dice. All right, so we got a 1, 2, 3, which is perfect. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to use my +1 to change it from a 3 to a 4. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'll let me take 4 actions with this card. And with those actions, we're going to be able to kill 4 of these guys. Because each one of them is 3 damage, they can only take 2. So we're going to kill 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that's right. And then these are all here. We would take 1 damage, but I can use my sandbag, which negates it. We'll put the sandbag out. This goes away. This goes away. These go away. These go away. Now this one is supposed to be an easy one. I've got one left, and I'm not rolling 6 anymore. I should only be rolling how many we've got, and that's a 2. Okay, so now I roll my dice. I have all 4. We've got 2 4s, a 3, and what do we want to do here? Well, if we went 1, 2, 3, we'd be here. So let's do that. We're going to spend the 3 to do that. So we'll just put it there. Go 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to put a 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That works. We're going to put the 4 back in here because I don't want to use it. Then we're going to use the 1 to activate him to do 1 point of damage to this guy. And then actually, no, we'll keep that out. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and resupply again, which means I can take another one of these guys out of here. And we'll take the medic, and we'll replace the radio operator. Maybe I'll replace this rifleman. So let's do it up here. I'm going to put him here. And we get that sandbag. He goes out. Okay. Yeah, so we're down here now. And that's the end of the turn. So we need 1 more hit to kill this guy. We're going to roll 1 die for them. It's a 7. There's the rifleman. And then we're going to roll 4 dice here. Oh, I need a new reinforcement card, which is another medic. I did shuffle these, I think. Pretty sure I did. And we get, a promotion. Nice. All right. 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay. Well, we'll use the 1 to move here. We'll use the 3 to fire and kill this guy, and that ends the the objective. We've successfully completed the objective. So the 2 and the 3, I'll put the 2 in here, and the 3 we'll just do 1, 2, 3, and go back to the start spot anyway. And that is the end of that. So then you would go on. This objective has been completed, and I'm just going to take the next objective, objective 2, Rocky Crags. Okay, and you can see you get 2 loops, 5 enemies, and we draw K out instead of race against time. So we put this here, and we draw out K. Where's, oh, they're over here. I moved them over here. Okay, K is right here. K, ambush. Whenever you pass over resupply, add 3, oh boy, add 3 Japanese soldier tokens to the battlefield. So this one's going to be a little tougher. But you see our cards are a little bit better too now because we have a more well-rounded team. We have a machine gun team, we have our radio operator and scouts, as well as our medic. We're only down to 3 riflemen as opposed to 6. We still have our bunker as well. So we have kind of a nice well-rounded group here. Now on this one you can see we've got G, B, A, B, C, D. So I'm actually going to stop the video here. And you guys can let me know if you think I should continue or not. You know, let me know what you think, whether or not you would like to see more of this, or let's move on and do a different game. Either way is fine. So having said that, that obviously means if you have comments or questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up here. So thanks for watching. I'm Joe, and this is the Hexed Encounter channel. And until next time, happy gaming.